All right, Sci-Fi Express Lane. Jeff Carroll here, sci-fi writer, filmmaker, comic book dude, and I like to do straight reaction sometimes without thinking of what I'm saying. Like if somebody had just asked me a question on the street, on the fly, on a panel, I think I give like my best answers sometimes, or say things that I would have never thought about in reaction. So one of the things that I actually asked myself this question, but it came up in a conversation where I was talking to another filmmaker about my event that I had, well, it was about 5 years ago now, Florida LitCon. It was before the quarantine. And Florida LitCon took place at the American Black Film Festival, one of the largest destination black film festivals in the world. And I threw a book fair, Comic-Con, film screening event right next to their main host hotel. And the goal of the event was to get people, filmmakers, to come and see books and comic books that they could actually make into film. And that's mostly because going to film festivals, you'll see a lot of films that are beautiful, good actors and everything, and yet the story is trash. And it affects comic books too, because comic book people love, especially illustrators. I'm gonna make me a comic book. They don't want to pay for a writer. That's a whole nother thing. But they'll look good, but they'll be in the dollar bin, or nobody's buying it. And it's mostly because the title is and the writing is trash, or it's not good, right? Or it's not as good as it could be for getting people to buy it, right? And that's all I am, as a writer. So that's all. If you buying anything of mine, it's because really the story definitely had to hit, but I do have some good illustrators that complement it and do it. But I've never had like a story that was trash, and it was because I had a big actor in it, because I've never worked with big actors. And that brings me to the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which is why do I'll just say come up people look to meet celebrities and people in the industry, and why do we do any of that, right? Why don't we just enter our films scripts in the screenplay competitions? Why don't we just submit our books to publishers? Why don't we just submit our comic book scripts to comic book companies? Why do we feel like, if I meet LeBron James, I'm gonna pitch him this idea? If I meet, it don't even have to be a filmmaker dude, right? If I meet Paul Pierce, if I meet, just any celebrity, right? You feel like, oh shoot, like even the celebrities at conventions, I'm guilty of it. I've seen, a celebrity at a convention, big Hollywood, A-list, I'm gonna call him A-list actor, and I was like, here's my book, let me tell you about it, and I'm really guilty of it, but I don't think it's a bad thing. So let me talk about that, right? So my particular situation, let's just get me out the way, because I know people's gonna be like, but you different, whatever. I used to work as an agent for 15 solid years, but I still do it, so it's 25 years and counting, right? But solid 15 years I was repping people, and some of these people are Hollywood A-list actors, B-list actors, whatever you want to call it. Definitely A-list. One of them was like Kevin Hart, JB Smoove, Monique, and then there's a bunch of people that know my name. Like this shirt I'm wearing, Politically Incorrect. I didn't buy this shirt. I got this shirt because I worked on the show, and I got a couple of my talent, booked on the show, and other people were, we were in discussion. Like, I don't even know if I ever got Shang on there, but we was trying to get Shang on there. And I got Reverend Jamal Bryant and some other people that I remember, right? But my situation is, I started writing 13 years into my writing career, right? I started my company in 1990, and I started writing like 2002, 2003. I made my first movie, Holla If I Kill You. However, prior to that, I had taken acting classes with Tracy Moore Marable, and I had taken screenwriting classes at Gotham screenwriting course in New York. I don't even know if they still have it, but I think so, right? So this was in the 90s. So 5-6 years before, and I worked on Apollo Comedy Hour, and I had written a couple of skits, but by the time I think I got one of them, I was able to submit one of them, and okay, got it. Ignore the phone call. I got a little feedback on one of the scripts, but for the most part, none of my scripts really went anywhere because the show got canceled. So I wrote them. I showed at least one to somebody, but that was it. Either way, that's who I am. Most of my artists never knew I wrote, kind of until I was ending my career, right? Actually, I'm going on 35 years. This would be 34, but if I work with talent now, it's really a mystery. But my talent didn't really know I was a writer, so I wasn't running to them with a script to pitch. I should have, man. When I started writing, Kevin Hart wasn't big yet. Monique was still able to be, she would answer, be able to pick up my phone call. I don't think she would have a problem with me. Last time we saw each other was cool. But yeah, man, so I was still working in television, and I was running into people, right? Left and right. But now is years from that. I've been down in Miami 24 years, and I have to run into people when I go to New York, when I go to LA, if they ever come through Miami, reach out to them on social media, which none of that is a problem, but I'm a regular writer dude now, and I'm pitching my stories and ideas to these people. And, the question is, well, why, right? What can JB Smoove do for me? What can Kevin Hart do for me, right? When I last saw Dave Chappelle, I hit him with a book, right? And a movie, right? But you never know, and that's really what it is. One of the biggest hurdles that independent filmmakers and people face is financial, right? Financial. Film people, actors, celebrities, they understand the process. So even if they can't star in it, they are cool people to approach about investing in your product because they know and they understand. Now, you got runaway independent people that I don't want to deal with nobody. Yeah, I get it, right? No problem. They want to do everything by themselves. They don't approach anybody. But I'm not knocking the people that approach people, because like with me, I don't approach everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't approach everybody because some people may not be enterprising, right? Number one. And other people just may not be approachable. They may not be approachable to you. So, it's a dance. If somebody looks at me and they're cool and we have, a contact, cool. I remember when I met LeVar Burton, I didn't have a vibe with him that he was open to stuff like that. But then there's other people that I don't know them, and I meet them at whatever, an event. I get a chance to talk to them, like, at ABFF is a real good event. comic conventions, sometimes you like I've been on panels with people, right? And then you hit it off and you be like, oh, cool. Even writers, right? I think that's the hardest thing, like for writers to approach other writers. What the heck are you doing that for? And I remember on my first book, I ran up to one of my most inspirational writers, was L.A. Banks. And I asked L.A. Banks, I was like, yo, what's up? I got this book. I was working on Thug Angel. And I said, I want to show you my book. I want to talk to you about my book. It's inspired. I read your Minion series, Vampire Huntress. Yes, I got a gargoyle, ain't no similarities except they both hunt vampires and werewolves and demonic stuff. But there's a lot of books like that, right? But she was like, nah, I can't talk to you about it because it's similar to my stuff. So writers already get, are aware of copyright infringement and stuff like that. But that didn't stop her from helping me. She couldn't read my story, so sure, couldn't give me direct feedback, but yet she was still able to give me some serious, in-depth writer advice. You know what I'm saying? And she had hit me to an anthology that, had she lived, I probably would have been in. I think it was Vegas Bites. Shout out to those ladies. They did an anthology of vampire stories that took place in Las Vegas, and I was really talking to her. I was like, yeah, but I was on my first book. I didn't know how to parlay my universes and adapt them to anthologies when they come out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it caught me off guard, but I was early, so I'm a newbie. But talking to people, that's how I got in Marcus Roberts and Bradley Golden's anthologies, both Mississippi Zombies and Harvest of Horrors 3 and 3, both Mississippi 3 and Harvest 3. I got into those. My other friend, I don't even know if I've ever met him, Gary Phillips, another writer in LA, but he writes comic books, he writes novels, and I have an anthology that I want to do with him, but he's reached out to me and invited me to write in anthologies. You hear the anthology I was in last year, Get On Up. I'm about to order some more copies of the book because it sold out real easy. But that anthology invitation came from, him liking my stories and reading my stories. Comic books are like that, like Rodney Barnes and Stephen Barnes, no relations, but they both Barnes. Man, Stephen asked me, he's quick to ask me for opinions and stuff like that. And through that, like, we had a nice meeting at Comic-Con last year, and he showed me his writing process, right? And it was beautiful. That type of help is priceless. It's not always money, but there's things that people can do to help you. Rodney Barnes, he's very transparent. He don't even just give it to me. He'll put it on social media. But if I do talk to him, he's very personable. Maybe he can't put me down. Maybe he can't do this. Maybe we might even be competitors if I, blow up to the next level. But it's not shady, and I understand people think these things are shady, but in reality, people just don't know what to ask somebody for or what to expect from them. So I'm just telling you some of the things that I've gotten and things that I've used. And I know a lot. Trust me, I'll battle you for days, but I'm not going to be so arrogant that I think I know everything. And there's people that I feel know way less than me that act so arrogant that they know everything. And I know it takes a little bit of confidence to make it in the industry. But come on, y'all. Y'all missing out on all these people that can help you because you think you know everything and you don't value information as help. And these are some people that even come to me and I'm like, yo, if somebody would have told me what I'm telling you, that's good. But you up here thinking, oh no, he ain't do nothing for me. And I rarely get that because I'm a very giving person. But I have gotten that attitude. I'm like, you don't appreciate what I'm giving. So I think the last thing, of course, you can get money from everybody, and I don't have no problem with that. But these little things that people can give you, it's not always yo, be in my movie. I'm not worried about, I might not be able to afford Monique to be in my movie, especially now, but she can put me on to somebody. You understand? Last, I'm just gonna go over time with this. My comedian friends, these guys we all coming up, right? They still coming up, but yet they can spend 20 minutes, an hour, call me anytime, Jeff, and when we vent over the experiences they've had writing. You understand what it's like in a writing room? I haven't been in any of those environments, but yet they help me out with a lot. So when I go to these festivals, like I'm hitting up one of my comedians later today I sent him one of my comic books, and I want to yo, what do you think about it? And I have ideas for another comic book. But that's it. And that's what that's what people do at the bar. Like, I was with dude at ABFF when he was still developing the pitch for Godfather of Harlem. And now that show is on. That's invaluable. You understand? We was at the bar at ABFF. Come on. All right. Like, subscribe, share, and comment.